Hey everyone, I'm back. Let's talk about Raw from last night because a lot happened. And I'm going to try to do this quick because I'm going to try to get a workout in before I have to go to work. All right. We opened with probably what I thought was one of the most interesting openings with Gunther and Finn and Damian. I loved when Damian came out. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen here. Of course, as we know, it led to us getting a triple threat at Saturday night. I'm looking forward to that match. I will say one thing though, I'm kind of like, we've been doing a lot of triple threats lately. That is my one. If I was going to complain about anything, that is what I'm going to complain about. However, you giving me Damian Priest in the ring with the championship shot again, I'm not going to complain about. So I thought that whole thing was really, really interesting. The open trade winner that we have going on, I was kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even like sometimes the draft every year, but I did like how they're hinting at things. Like, I think I saw Tiffany Stratton backstage at Raw. Maybe I saw a blonde. Who do you think it was? I thought it was Tiffany. We, of course, saw Cody Rhodes talking with the Raw GM and Pierce. So that part of it, I kind of like. I like that, like, little thing. I was a little confused with the Liv Morgan match. Yeah, that match, I didn't get why that match was happening, but it was good. It wasn't nothing against it, but I was just kind of like, I could have gotten rid of that, especially because our main event was like so tight. I mean, we had like 10 minutes to get that all done, and it was. Next thing, of course, let's talk about the Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn interaction. Very much like that, like this little tension between the two of them, like the match. I like, because again, I feel like when it comes to this whole grouping, we can go a lot of different directions. You can do Sammy versus someone. You can do Seth versus CM Punk. Now we have Drew McIntyre back in the mix. We could do something with Drew McIntyre. I like all of that. And I also did like, one of the things I liked best was like the very smooth transition of Seth leaving and Sammy picking up exactly, like, he fed him the line to get him to where the promo had to go off. He leaves, the promo goes on. I loved the flow of all that. I just thought it was just so beautifully done, and they are pros at it. So curious to see Sammy's match. Curious to see what's going to happen. Are him and Seth coming to blows soon? What is going on next? And then, of course, we have the return of Drew McIntyre. I mean, love it. Love, like, there's so many amazing stories that can be told. And it's just like, which one are we telling next at this point? And I'm kind of in love with that part of the men's division right now. Women's division, we had another three-way for the women's intercontinental title match. Again, I don't like triple threats that much, but it was good. It did what I had to do. I'm curious to see who will hold that title, and who's gonna be up next. So now we have 2 of the 4 that are in the final 4, and then of course we'll go down to the final 2. So curious to see. We'll see what happens there. But I'm hoping now that we are going to be closer to the final 4. What I want is some storytelling between the 4. I want like a reason why they want it. I just want a little more meat behind it, if that makes sense, than them just going for a title. That's all I'm asking for. Wyatt 6 and Final Testament. It was okay. And here's the thing, I am a Wyatt 6 fan. I like them. I love the whole thing. I love the look. I love everything about it. I also like Final Testament. I'm a huge Scarlett fan. You all know that. I think she's great. She looked gorgeous here. Even my husband was like, wow, that top's really pretty on her. And he very rarely comments on what anyone wears in wrestling. So, he's catching on to what I put down. But I like the return of Paul Ellery. It was interesting. At one point during the match, I'm like, is Paul retiring? Is Paul Ellery just not going to come back? And then there he was, pop it up. So that part was really cool. The Miz being like the reluctant member Final Testament is okay. I kind of like when Miz more fully embraces his heelness, and I feel like he still isn't there yet, if that makes sense. With that, really surprised they did beat the Wyatt six already. Did not see that part coming. Found that kind of interesting and curious what that means moving forward because I was just that kind of shocked me. Granted, it was a lot of interference, but that really shocked me. Personal highlight because you know I love Scarlett was Nikki Cross and that camera angle of like you're looking at Scarlett and Nikki Cross's face like coming and her rolling through the ring and Nikki like I loved it. I loved everything about that part. So highlight for me. We had the New Day, of course, the follow up from their breakup. Well, not is it a break? What do you call when two people turn on one and like kick them out of the crew? Is that a breakup? What are we calling this thing that happened with the double heel turn? I'm not sure. They like my husband was laughing. He's like, they can't talk like Dominic can't talk. Like the crowd went wild, and I was there for it. It was so cool to watch. The only problem with it is like when I looked at the time on the clock, I was like, how, they're starting them now, and we still have the main event to get to, and we haven't gotten to the main event. With that, like you know, we only got like a 10-minute main event on Raw. Also, since you were doing a women's, you all, this is my one complaint about SmackDown last week. I know I didn't do a full review, but you're going to get it right here, which was that last week SmackDown aired the exact same day as the 20th anniversary of the first ever time women main evented an episode of Raw, which of course is my favorite Lita and Trish, and nothing, no mention of it. They had multiple moments they could have talked about. They could have talked about after the women triple threat. Like, just an acknowledgement of that anniversary was all I was asking for. Again, last night, they could have easily talked about, you know, just over 20 years ago, the first ever main event with women took place at Raw. And here we are again with Raquel and Rhea going at it in our main event. That's all I'm asking. A little acknowledge the anniversary. Now the anniversary is totally passed, so I will promise I will be off my soapbox on that. But that was my one complaint of the last couple of shows. With that, we had the no holds anything goes match, which meant like as soon as Raquel came out, you had Rhea, like they went through the stands, you got into the ring. I thought, you know, considering they had 10 minutes to do everything they did in that match, it was really, really good. The timing of everything was impeccable. I'm not a huge Raquel Rodriguez fan, but it was a decent match. You had the Liv interference. Then, of all the shockers, which I did really like, was Io Sky coming out. We had seen her earlier helping her partner in Damage Control during a match. She came back out again. It was great because it kind of story told a little bit more about her and Liv facing each other this Saturday. And then the most interesting moment, and I love this because it reminds us what Rhea is going to be going after, is Rhea starts picking up the title belt and Io Sky starts picking up the title belt, and they're both looking at each other holding this belt. And that was coming out of War Games where they were on the same team. I think that reminder that War Games team was really a lot of women who should not get along normally but needed to get along for a specific reason. And now we're being reminded like they actually have reasons they don't like each other. So, of course, Rhea Ripley won. Riptide through a table. Loved it. Just like at the end of War Games. And curious to see what's going to happen next. Overall, I liked the episode overall. I almost wished it was a little longer. But with that said, they packed a lot into those 2 hours. Let me know your thoughts on Raw. I will talk to you all soon. And now I'm going to go work out.